So I'm starting to remove the two-wheel drive brackets from this C30 frame. When I removed them from my scrap frame, the four-wheel drive brackets, I used the plasma cutter because I wasn't worried about damaging the frame. I just wanted the brackets. For this part, I don't want to damage either because I'm going to resell these brackets, and I'm definitely obviously using the frame. So instead of the plasma cutter, I am drilling out the rivets. So use a step drill method. I start with a center punch, 1/8 inch bit, quarter, 5/16, all the way up until the head falls off, which surprisingly didn't take that long. Once you get up to a 1/2 inch bit, it just falls right off. So that's a little bit slower, but I don't have a whole lot to remove on this frame. That's all bolted on. So I have 4 rivets on this one, 4 rivets on that one. And that'll pretty much cover most of it. The rest of it all uses bolts. So we're gonna keep drilling this bad boy until it falls off. Just drilled through the final rivet on this bracket. Boom, just like that. Now the bracket's off. Now we just drive the rivets out. Hopefully you didn't drill too deep and hurt the frame. As you can see, they're still sticking out. You might have to take a grinder if they're mushroomed at all. But because they have the taper of the drill bit, you can put a punch in there, a small one, and you won't, mushroom the head out. It should drive right through. This is my preferred method for this type of job. Rather than use a punch and hold it myself, I just take an old bolt with vice grips, and then if you slip, you're not smashing your hand. Got one. Make sure there's no small children behind you when you do that. Here's what you're left with. The old rivet. These things do a good job, but they are a pain to get out. So there's our holes. You can see didn't damage the frame a bit, and be ready to install our new brackets. I have the first four-wheel drive spring hanger mount mocked up. I'm taking careful measurements for the core support. This is where your grill and your fender, everything bolts to this. So the distance from here to here has to be the same, so that when you bolt the fender up, everything lines up right. But we also have to be careful because the distance from that front pin to the leaf spring center pin has to be correct so that the tire is in the middle of the wheel arch. So right now I'm working on getting a center line for the front axle, because obviously this wheel was positioned in the wheel well exactly where it's supposed to be. So I am getting just a rough measurement. I mean, if I'm off a tiny bit for this part of the job, it'll be okay. So we're going to scribe some lines before we remove anything else, because I got to take all this apart. And one of the other joys of any type of conversion is only one of the holes lines up, and it's not even perfectly lined up. So probably what I'm going to do is weld all those holes shut and re-drill them, because a couple of them are very close, but not correct. So that's going to be a weak point. If I were to just drill that, it's like half into the other hole. And same way, if I can get the bolt through that one, I might leave that one, but the rest of them are going to get drilled. Obviously this isn't here on the two-wheel drive model, so that's going to get drilled out. That's no big deal. But this is pretty critical part of the conversion, because the axle has to be perfectly straight and centered and all that good stuff. So I'm going to take my time and get it all lined up correctly. The way I'm checking this is I put a square on my center line for my body mount. The spring hanger is offset. Obviously it's not straight down, so we got to make sure we're good. I have my center line of my axle is on the front of that straight edge. So if we come out to just touch there, and we check the square, It's about 23 and 9/16. It's hard to do with the camera here. So then, just to get an idea, we're gonna look at our spring from the center of the eye bolt to the center pin. And once again, this is just a rough guess. It shows about 23.5. I was up pretty late last night and got the whole frame stripped and ready for springs. So I got both brackets off. Gonna weld some holes shut, drill the new ones, mount the hangers. Pressure washed it yesterday. It's all cleaned up, and it's a blank canvas. So the frame is in super good shape. This is all original paint. This side had a power steering leak, so the paint is like real clean because it had a nice coating of power steering fluid on it. This side is a little bit worse. We'll clean that up and paint everything before we put the engine in. So that's where we're at now, and moving along. What do you think, Tess? Ready to move on to phase 2. So now we have to weld these holes shut so we can drill our new ones. A little tip on shop safety. I've got the floor pretty clean and everything's moved around. I start hearing this noise, and I look over here. It's been like 5 minutes, and the oil dry is catching on fire. Good reminder, I try not to leave my garage for at least like 5-10 minutes after I'm done welding and grinding, just to make sure there's nothing smoldering, because here's where we're at now. Got the brackets installed on both sides and the springs most of the way in. I just got to get the right size hole saw to cut the shackle mount for the rear, and then we'll be good to go. Each one of these front brackets uses 8 bolts. I'm using grade 8 3/8 bolts with the misshapen lock nuts. They're like a steel nut with a crimp on both sides that locks it instead of the nylon ones. So there's 8 bolts on the front, and then there'll be 4 bolts on the rear holding the shackle mount. The shackle mount looks like this. So this part passes through the frame, and then the shackles and bolts go through there. So 10 more holes to drill. I picked up these motor mounts from Summit. We're gonna see how they work. They're so cheap. If they work, it's not worth me making them since so many people already do this swap. So I have those. I also picked up their cross member as well. This is made for a 4-wheel drive truck, so I am gonna have to change a few things. The 4-wheel drive frame had a hole for it to pass through, and then 4 mounting bolts. So that's what I'm working on right now. The 2-wheel drive frame, the 1-ton 2-wheel drive frame, is much thicker. So the shackle would hit there. You can see that line is where the normal 4-wheel drive frame is, so we have to notch the frame out. I know that freaks a lot of people out, but it's still just as thick as the like K20 frames. And I've seen other people weld straps underneath. So I don't know, we'll see what it looks like when we're done, but I'm not that worried about it. We're gonna use the old prime weld cut 50 to rough cut it, and then finish it off smooth with a flap disc. Here, but so far all the cutting I've done with this thing has been rough cuts and just, you know, torched the stuff apart. So it's gonna be my first time actually trying to make a smooth cut with it. I don't have my hopes too high, but no one will see it under here, so I'm gonna see how it goes. Wish me luck. There it is. I don't think it's too bad. I went in a little bit early there. This was my first line, so I'm going to smooth that out. I didn't need to go as big as I thought. So overall, not too bad. So there's Here's the finished product, all cleaned up. We'll get some paint on the bare metal and put it all together. Once it's in there, I'm not taking it out unless I have to. One side is done. It's a lot of work for just one little shackle. And I know the angle looks like that, but it's unloaded right now. There's nothing on it. So when we get the engine, everything, it should have the correct angle. It's in the stock location, and these are stock length springs, so should be all good. We're coming along. Now I got one more side to do, but I'm done for today. I'm pooped.